It's cracking.
All right, episode 6, Sports on Tap podcast. Another week of rugby is finished, and another week to kick off. Um, this is round number 4 that we have upcoming, and round 3 done and dusted. What are your thoughts on round 3?
I liked it. Another great fucking round of footy. Um, Obviously, as a Bunnies fan, that part wasn't so great, but the other matches were pretty nice, especially the Eagles and the Eels. That was amazing.
You did see a lot of games, so recap around 3 Thursday night. Um, Panthers 34, Broncos 12. Um, this was pretty obvious, to be honest. Panthers getting up, but not many people expected them 13 plus, to be honest.
Mm.
Um, Panthers, they just steamrolled through the Broncos. Broncos just they didn't really show up till that second half. They only conceded 12 points in that second half. But
Mm.
I think the big, obviously, talking point of Reece Walsh injury coming from this game. I think since Reece came off the field, the Bronx they just were not there. So big talking point is that Reece Walsh injury out for 4 to 6 weeks, fractured eye socket.
Mm.
But it is what it is. Injuries do happen. So the Panthers steamrolled through Brisbane in this game. And Friday night we had the Warriors and the Raiders in New Zealand. This was actually another good game. Warriors 18, Canberra 10. Um, Raiders they did actually show a bit of fight. They
Oh yeah.
definitely had the fight in them, the Raiders, but I think they just let it slip away. I think especially because the Warriors scored the back-to-back tries in the second half through Metcalf and Tuivasa-Sheck from back-to-back sets too. I think that's what gave them the win. But either way, this was still a good game. Sellout crowd in Christchurch. I think it was pretty easy decision that the Warriors would get up in front of their home fans
Mm.
in New Zealand. And then 48-6, very dominant display by the Roosters over in Sydney. I Mate, I just don't even know what to say.
Don't need to say anything, man. You don't need to say anything.
I just the Roosters just like the Panthers. It was a walk in the park. It was like a training run out there. Barney just conceded so many tries when they shouldn't have. I think
And we should have gone so many tries, but we didn't.
I think yeah. I think watched the full game, but as moments I was watching the Bunnies. They were so close on the Roosters goal line, but they just weren't there. It's like watching Sunday night with Matty Johns, Jairo saying, they were so close to the line, but they took the wrong plays when they shouldn't have. They should have taken the tackle, but instead they were trying fancy stuff and it didn't work out.
Or even just
So,
playing the ball normally. Kepi.
yeah, that's it. I mean, I feel like the Bunnies should have taken the tackle instead of making the wrong decision, which they wouldn't have gone to 6 points. They would have gone more if they made the right decision. But end of the day, it was a dominant display from the Roosters, which they got to give a lot of credit to. But Latrell Mitchell, sin bin, which was Latrell sin bin actually conceded 2 tries for the Roosters. Went straight to Joey Manu and then Tedesco. So
Mm.
I don't know what happened with the Bunnies, but the Roosters dominant in that victory. And then sad day Arvo. Bulldogs taking care of things in Belmore, 32-0. And we saw probably the greatest bomb try we've ever seen in the first minute of Kieran Foran knocking it on right on the goal line. Not sure what happened to him, but dominant display there from the Dogs in Belmore. And then we had the Dragons and the Cowboys, 46-24 to the Cowboys and a huge comeback. Honestly, through that first 20 minutes, I thought the Dragons probably would have had it. I thought the Dragons were just gonna have a 13+ win, but then the Cowboys' attack was just on,
Yeah, the
and
comeback was pretty crazy.
they were down 18-4. So to score 42 unanswered points like that is just unbelievable for the Cowboys.
Mm.
And then biggest talking point of the round, Tigers 32, Cronulla 6. Benji's first game at Leichhardt ends is a win. What's happened with the Sharks though? Like they just weren't on. They were
Yeah.
not on. The Tigers' defense was just way too good,
Mm.
or either the Sharks' attack was just very, very poor. But Appy was the main man in this victory, and good to see Benji getting his first win as Tigers head coach. And Sunday we had two great games. Para 28, Manly 24. I think Manly just let this one slip away, to be honest. They were
Mm.
up 14-0 at one stage, and then Para just ripped right through Manly. And there was a very controversial obstruction call that cost Manly a victory. A lot of NRL experts and their fans are saying that it was a dumb call and that it did cost Manly the win, which I personally think it did because Dragojevic didn't impede anyone. It was just a defensive decision, but end of the day, Para got up 28-24, and then we finished off Knights 14, Storm 12. I knew this was just a game of defense, to be honest. It was obviously the low scoring game, but
Mm.
this game was just all about defense and inexperienced halves for the Melbourne Storm, which Wishart did look really, really good actually, as an inexperienced player. But I think the Knights, they were just too good in this defensive display, even for the Storm. Their defense was good. So the Knights got up 14-12, and start off with your moment of the round.
It's tough, honestly. Like for me, like we were talking before the podcast, it's not necessarily the moment. It's more performance-wise, and I have to go with West Tigers. They just looked so well against the Sharks. They looked really good, and I'm really happy that they performed very well and for their home um crowd. So it would have to be West Tigers' performance for me.
Yeah, it was good. My moment of the round would would be the Cowboys attack.
Mm.
Their attack was just on fire. Like I said, 42 unanswered points, just like that. Like they were just on fire, the Cowboys, and obviously round one against the Dolphins, their attack was on fire as well.
Mm.
And then compare this game to last week, it was just like I think the Cowboys. I said this before. The Cowboys are going to finish top four for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like they've already scored 100+ points in 3 games, which is absolutely unbelievable. So that's my moment of the round. And then now we go to round number 4. Start things off. Sydney Roosters versus the Penrith Panthers. And big news out of this game, no Nathan Cleary, which now puts the Roosters at the favourites. So Roosters, start with them. They're obviously coming off the big win. What do you think they need to do in order to beat the Panthers for this game?
Honestly, do exactly what they did last week against the Bunnies. They looked very well. And Panthers have no Nathan Cleary, no James Fisher. Obviously, they still have an extremely strong team. So obviously, it's not going to be no walk in the park. But honestly, just keep doing what they're doing. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, exactly like you said, just do exactly what they did last week. I think it's gonna be it's gonna be that it was not that it was easy in the first place, but it's gonna make that confidence a little bit more on the Roosters side without Nathan Cleary.
Hmm.
And if they play exactly the same way that they did. I think the Roosters could be on for a very, very big win here, and they got their 5'8" Luke Keary back from his HIA, which is even that's another thing from last game. They had no Luke Keary, and they still won 48-6. So think about it. They had Luke Keary. Obviously a veteran playmaker. He won the three premierships, so they had that experience of Luke Keary. Could have been a much bigger win for the Roosters.
We're not
I
talking about the
think,
game. We're not talking about the game anymore,
but
alright? Alright? We don't have to
but
talk about it anymore, okay?
but yeah, Luke Keary back for the week, so I think he's back at a good time against the Panthers.
Mm,
So I reckon the Roosters, like we said, they have to play exactly the way that they did last week, and they could be on for a big win.
mm,
And well, the Panthers, as we said, no Cleary brings in Brad Schneider at the halfback role until Cleary returns. Um, he's come from played for the Raiders in 23, I think, or 22. He went to the Super League. I
mm,
think it was 22. He went to the Raiders, and then 23 to the Super League, and now he's back in
mm,
Panthers colours. So good to see how he gets a run.
mm.
Um, obviously, Ivan expects big things from him, and it's big shoes to fill. You're obviously in the place of the greatest player in the sport right now. You're filling in those shoes for the next 4 weeks. In a three-time winning team. So he's got some big shoes to fill and a lot of pressure on the young bloke.
Mm.
But um, no changes either. Apart from that, Scott Sorensen only other change from this Panthers lineup, and I think Panthers got to play the same way. I think Panthers have to play the way they did in the first half in order to have. If the Panthers are to win, they got to play the exact same way that they did in the first half last week. I
Yeah,
think their second half was very poor. I think they should have scored more tries, but the Bronx. Obviously, Kevy would have had a chat to them, but the Broncos just they don't want to concede any more points. So I think the Panthers have to play like they did the first half in order to win this game.
mm,
And there was talks of Isaiah Yo, rumors that he would be out for 4 to 6 weeks, but he's actually confirmed himself that the rumors are false, and he's not injured. He's playing, so he's actually going to captain the side for the Panthers, of course. So this is actually going to be a good game to kick off Thursday night footy.
mm.
So they've scored 110 points in their past three games at Allianz Stadium, which is actually a huge, huge confident booster because I can't remember the last two games that they played there. But that was their first home game last week, 48, and then they obviously scored 80, 70 something before that. So this game could potentially be a high scoring one. But the Panthers have won their past eight straight against the Roosters. So I don't know. It could be 50-50 this game. But either way, it's going to be a good game, either or.
Oh yeah.
Then we jump over to some Good Friday footy. We got the winless Bunnies taking on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, who took care of business last week. 3:05, so it is the early game. Um, Still no Lachlan Ilias, no changes made from last week's defeat, but the Dogs, no changes either. They've only brought in Josh Adokar, who has been named on the reserves, hopeful to come back, as
Mm.
it has been that 4 week differential. But first, start off with the Bunnies. They have to bounce back this game.
Oh yeah. If
I
they don't
mean,
bounce back, there's people getting fired. People like I was watching Snag Sports and I 100% agree with them. People are literally fighting for their jobs in this game.
yeah, well, it's it's just players they're fighting for their positions now,
Yeah.
and I think if the it say that the Bunnies lose this game, obviously they start off 4-0.
Mm.
Demetrio is probably gonna
Oh yeah, he's getting
He's gonna.
sacked.
I wouldn't say he'll get sacked. I think he's got a certain amount of games that he has to win. Like say he has to win the next 4 out of 5 games in order to keep his position. But I think if the Bunnies lose this game, he's going to be a lot of pressure. I think we're going to see the likes of like Latrell maybe making a position switch back to into the centers. I
Mm,
think, and we could potentially see maybe Cody Walker jumping into a fullback role
mm,
just to see. I think that we could see some positional switches if the Bunnies lose this game, but and then they might even put Jack. They might even swap Whiten and Latrell around, chuck Whiten into fullback, Mitchell into the centers,
mm,
or even run Jack Whiten into the halves. I think win or lose depends how much the Bunnies would win by. Like say if they win by about 4, I think they should put Jack Whiten into the halves and move Cody Walker to 7, just to give him a run anyway.
mm,
Because I think that's probably what the Bunnies need to do. Because it's still going to be pressure on Isaiah Tass when Campbell Graham comes back. Like, because he's obviously back around 20. If Isaiah Tass is playing very well for those 20 weeks,
mm.
the poor bloke's going to be on the reserves, who's going to be a key factor for the Bunnies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, people, players, coaches, staff, fighting for their jobs on this game. So Bunnies really need to fire up this game. And
Mm,
on the other side, the Bulldogs took care of things, 32 points to nil. They just got to play the exact same way that they did last week. Keeping the Titans team to 0. Just play the exact same way they did last week. I think get Crichton more involved. I feel like he wasn't involved as much last week. He was a bit quiet. Um, he had a couple good plays. Obviously, he had a good play from Bomb. I think it was from Tanner Boyd or Foreign, where him and Blake Tapper going for the same ball, and then Crichton ran about 30 meters, which was probably the only play that I actually saw from Crichton the entire game. So I think he needs to get more involved in order to win this game because it's also a big game for him as well. I think this is his first major game in Bulldogs colours,
mm,
so he's gonna have to perform his best. Because he only had the 10 runs last week and he had 103 running meters. So like I said, he's got to get involved a lot this game.
mm,
Because he hasn't been involved as much. The Para game was the only game that we saw him actually attack. But
mm,
I think, yeah, it's like the last game. It's going to be a good one. But
mm,
yeah, Bunnies they're fighting for their lives. Bulldogs just play the way that they're playing, and going to be a very very close game. I
mm,
think.
mm,
So that's the early game, and then finish Friday night with the Queensland Derby. The Brisbane Broncos versus the North Queensland Cowboys. What a ripper of a game this is going to be.
mm.
Broncos start the season 1-2. Cowboys start the season 3-0. Cowboys are massive favourites in this game. I'll start off with the Cowboys at first, actually. They're 3-0. They've scored more than 100 points to their first 3 games. That's on average about 33 points something, which is unbelievable. They're the only team to stay undefeated in 2024. If they do win this game, would you consider them a premiership threat straight away? Or are
Honestly,
they the
I mean,
premiership threat already?
I think they're already like they look really good. If I'm being honest, like especially being undefeated apparently, and then after this round potentially being 4-0, it's just they have an easy like I don't want to like discredit their the way they're doing well, but their draw is pretty good, so I see them finishing top 4. Honestly, like I think already they're premiership threats easily. If I'm being honest.
Well, they're definitely going to make the top 4. I reckon they will because
Mm,
easy draw. Like I said, they play the Broncos, Titans, Eels, Sharks, Panthers, Dolphins, Titans up to around 10.
mm.
So
Like I see them,
realistically,
they could be
they
undefeated. Like
they could
honestly,
they could
10 and
because
0.
I think round 8 is Cleary's probably going to come back, or that's going to be his last game
Mm,
off. So say Cleary doesn't return. Cleary returning or not, Cowboys will win that game,
mm,
I think. But Cowboys can potentially start the season off at 10 and 0.
mm.
So, so like you say,
Crazy.
Cowboys are already at that premiership threat because they already scored 46 points, 21 and 43, so 99 and then 110. Around that 110 points that they've already scored. So, yeah, 44, 46. Yeah, 110 points they've scored through 3 games. That is unreal.
Jesus Christ.
Coming from a team that didn't make the finals last season. So, hey, I've said this in recent episodes. The Cowboys can score whenever they want. If they're on, they're on.
Oh yeah.
Like 20 meters out, they're probably the one team that can't be stopped 20 meters out.
Mm,
Like they've shown that, apart from the Knights game, they've shown that in round 1 and round 3. So, and they get Zach Labour back as well, which is huge for the Cowboys because he was one of their best players on the field in round 1. So he's going to be a big inclusion in the centers. And Tom Dearden's captaincy has been on fire. Him and Dearden and Cotter's captaincy this season has been on fire. I think that's probably one of the main reasons that the Cows have been doing so good. So I think his captaincy this is probably going to be Tom's biggest game of his life in terms of captain wise so far. Um, so it's going to be a huge test for Tommy Dearden, obviously against his former club again.
mm.
I don't. Yeah, he's only beaten them once since he left the Broncos. So he's only 1-2 against them. So it's not going to be easy for him. But Broncos, on the other hand, were missing Reece Walsh, obviously, for 4 to 6 weeks. And news this morning that Brendan Piakura limped off a training this morning at Red Hill. So he's been ruled out. Not sure how long he's been ruled out for. That brings in young Jaden Hunt from the Dragons into the second role for that time until Piakura returns, which we're not sure about. And young Tristan Saylor is the fullback for the Brisbane Broncos. Have you seen much of Tristan?
I haven't paid too much attention, if I'm being honest, but what do you think?
He's an absolute electric fullback. I mean, if he wasn't on the Broncos, he would for sure be a starting fullback on another team. Like I think if he went to maybe the um, Titans potentially, um, Dragons even, Raiders, he would for sure be the starting fullback. Because obviously his dad Wendell was an absolute freak
Mm,
um, with the Broncos back in the day.
mm,
Even the Bulldogs or Sharks, I think he would be a starting fullback. But Tristan is an absolute freak. He was his dad convinced him to sign with the Super League for the season because he wasn't getting much because he was always in the reserves.
mm,
So his dad wanted him to go there, but Tristan turned down the offer and he decided to stay. And in the preseason, he was an absolute freak against the Cowboys.
mm,
Um, Even against Winner Manly in the first game that we had in 2024 of the trials, he was off the first 20 minutes, and in the last 40, he just we were down 12-0, and he just carried the game. He put the game on his back. So if when you watch this game on Friday night, not even just Friday night, but for the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see how much of a freak this 21-year-old is.
mm.
So absolute freak is Tristan Saylor. But um, not just the only thing. Um, Adam Reynolds has cleared, scans have been cleared. He returns this week and massive confidence booster for the Broncos. Um, I think Adam was obviously a huge reason that we missed that in our loss last week. I think he just changes this Broncos side. Him
Mm,
and Reese Walsh just change this Broncos side. That's what makes them so good. Is their playmaking, their um, passing IQ, not just their passing IQ, the IQ in general and their ability. It's just so good. That's what makes them so great. And even Renault's like, I think he's 34, 35, maybe 36, but he still plays like he's bloody debuting for South Sydney. So he's an absolute freak.
mm.
And then still obviously no Payne Haas. I'm pretty sure he's confirmed round eight return. He's confirmed. So Corey Jensen and Fletcher Baker still stay in the props. Um, and Xavier Willison still stays on the bench. Corey Oates will come off the bench for the first time since I think 2020 or 2021. He's yet to play a game this season, and I don't know if you heard about him. Big Benjamin Takuta. Can you guess how tall he is?
Um, I honestly, I couldn't tell me.
He is 6'9",
Jesus Christ.
210 kgs.
What the fuck?
He is NBA built, and he has been named.
210?
He's been named at the 18th man.
Oh my god, it's
Means that
crazy.
if we are running low on if we are running low on interchanges, he will play. So if we're down only 15 players, Benjamin can be activated, or two HIAs. Benjamin can be activated. So he has a potential to make his debut this Friday night in a Queensland derby. So 6'9" freak. He's the exact same size as Big Nelson Sofa Solomona. So good luck to the cows trying to stop him if he does get activated to come on. So yeah, that's
110
Big Ben right there.
kilos. Holy moly.
Yeah, absolute freak he is, but good game. Good game on Friday night. Good Friday. That's not the only Queensland derby that we have though. And then Saturday, Dragons and the Manly Seagulls. There's not really much to talk about from this game because the Dragons, I think they're a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Like their first game was an overreaction.
Yeah, like I still loving it. People saying, "Oh, they're premiership contenders. They're gonna win the comp." I just find that so funny still.
Yeah, well, after the first game, everyone's saying that this is the Shane Flanagan era and the Tyrell Sloan era and everything, but and then the next two games they get absolutely obliterated by 13 plus, which is pretty sad for the Dragons fans. But I think they really need to step up, to be honest. Like they haven't been the best in their past few seasons. I think they Ben Hunt, he's definitely not happy at St. George. He says that he's not, but he's just hiding his emotion at St. George. He wants to go.
I mean, he has
I
said
think,
multiple times that he wants to.
yeah, I'm still gutted about the false news of him signing with the Broncos, and then 2 days later, the coaching staff rejects that offer.
So
So
sad.
I think we're not gonna see Ben Hunt in 2026. It's either this year or next year he's gone because he's almost the same age as Adam Reynolds, or he might be older than Adam Reynolds. I
Yeah.
don't know, but we're definitely not going to see Ben after next year, that's for sure.
Mm.
And then Manly, well, top 18, that's for sure. I think they should have definitely won against Para last week, but they just couldn't hold the lead. Um, up 14-0, and obviously that obstruction call. But this should be a walk in the park for Manly, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like the way they've been playing, you'd expect it to be a walk in the park. So we'll have to wait and see, of course. So that's 4:30. And then our last Queensland derby of the week. Saturday night, Gold Coast Titans versus the Dolphins at Seabus, and the return of Jaden Campbell coming back. His last game was around 22, 2023 versus the Warriors. He officially returns at fullback. What do you reckon he's going to go?
I think he'll do well, just like last year. Like, I'm very excited to see him play. Even I do think Dolphins will win this one, but I'm still excited to see him back, and glad he's healed up from his injury.
Yeah, well, I mean, last time that he played the Dolphins, he broke the Titans record, most running meters. I think he had like 305 running meters.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
305 running meters versus the Dolphins last time these two sides played. So obviously he's an absolute freak, Jaden Campbell. So I reckon this is a massive confidence booster for the Titans, to be honest. Um, but feel bad for young Keanu Kenny, who is now dropped from the squad now that Jaden's back. He hasn't had the best start of 2024. Obviously, only played 2 games with young Keanu, but
Mm,
got to feel gutted for him. And
yeah.
another, probably the biggest talking point for the Titans already is Big Tino gone for the season with the ACL.
Massive,
That
massive
is
loss.
that is just so heartbreaking, not just for Titans fans, but for Queenslanders too.
Oh, yeah.
For the Maroons fans, like that is
State of
just so
Origin.
heartbreaking. Because what is he? He'll be a prop. So that is absolutely heartbreaking for Queensland fans and Titans fans. So very unfortunate. I hope wishing Tino the best and speedy recovery. But he's obviously not going to come back to at this year. But it would be a miracle if he somehow returned. But there's absolutely zero chance.
Mm,
So best wishes to Tino and his family. But now that Tino's gone, I'm not sure who their captain is actually. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's Kieran Foran. Yes, it is actually Kieran Foran. He's their captain. So, mate, the Titans have got a lot to do now in 2024 with
oh, yeah.
their skipper out. So, and that means that Keenan Palacia will now probably be their starting prop this season. Obviously, he was a prop for the Bronx last season off the bench, but now he gets a starting role, which is good. And also, Dave Fafita has been named in the reserves, though. So, by the looks of it, I don't think um, Hasler's confident that David is 100%. I think that um, David Fafita being named in the reserves is going to be a game time decision,
Mm,
or else he would have easily been named in the second rowers. So by the looks and sounds of it, it's going to be a game time decision for Fafita,
yeah.
which we'll find out on Saturday. Would be good to see him play. Obviously, he's missed last 2 games. Round two, they had to bye, um, which gave him that extra week. So it'd be good to see David back because they do need him, especially with no Tino. But these Titans boys are going to have to step up big in 2024. But after hearing that Tino news, as much as I want to say they do play finals footy, I don't think they do anymore.
Honestly, I mean, without Tino and the way they're looking there, I think they're probably maybe wooden spooners, if I'm being honest. I think there's a
Yeah,
big
well,
chance for that,
I mean, yeah, wooden spooners,
which is sad.
you're definitely right. It's a bit sad for Titans because Titans fans they've been dealing with it for years now. I mean, apart from that 2021 season, they've haven't haven't had the best of years. But I think the Titans they're a couple of superstars away from being a finals threat. So,
Mm,
and then the Dolphins, of course, they're fresh off a bye. Last game was that 38-0 victory. I think there should be something similar to that game against the Dragons. Probably not keeping the Titans scoreless.
mm,
Titans will probably score at least 1 or 2 tries, but this
yeah,
should be an easy walk in the park for the Dolphins.
yeah.
I think because their backs are just so strong with Hamiso, Osako, Farnworth, Avarillo, and everyone. I think that this is just going to be an easy walk in the park for the Dolphins
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
little inside my bet, like I think they'll have this 13 plus, honestly.
Yeah, especially the way that the Titans have been playing.
And like I'm a little bit surprised they're $1.73. I thought they would be lower. So I'm very much liking that head to head right there.
Yeah, definitely. No idea why they're at $1.78. They should be lower, but
Mm.
hey, things could change. Maybe. Um, Sunday, good games coming up. Got the Warriors versus the Knights. I think this is actually going to be a very, very good game.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be another good game that's unmissable. Um, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has been named at the fullback role for the Warriors because there's still no Sean Nickel Klogstad. He'll be back next week. I don't know who the Warriors play next week, but he'll be back. Um, and for the Knights, still no Jackson Hastings. He's been named in the reserves once again. I didn't get to watch this game, but on Sunday, but did Gamble play pretty good, decent?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't bad, but yeah, I would say it did um all right. Like nothing crazy, but you know.
I mean, like I said last, they dropped the wrong half, but obviously Gamble did have a good game last week. I think
Yeah,
he's got another game or two to prove himself, or else he will probably be dropped as well.
yeah,
But I think Jack Cogger should be there in the halves anyway,
yeah.
because
I'm still surprised they dropped him. Yeah.
yeah. But Jack Cogger though, he's very good player, that's for sure. So good pick up for the Knights. But I don't see the Knights winning this game, to be honest. I don't know. I just think the Warriors are just too good. But
Mm,
I mean, you never know. The Knights are surprising. They're a bit of a shocking team. Um, sorry, surprising team. Like the games you expect them to win, they'll lose, and the games you expect them to lose, they'll win.
mm,
Like Canberra, everyone expecting them to win, they lost. Um, Raiders, Storm, everyone expected them to lose, and they won. So the Knights, they're a bit of a weird team to predict. But hey, who knows? Who knows? But should be a somewhat close game for the Warriors. But we'll have to wait and see.
yeah.
And then Cronulla Sharks and the Canberra Raiders. The Sharks really have to turn things around after their disappointing loss
Mm,
to the Tigers last week. And no Dale Finucane ruled out. But you were saying before the Raiders are not they're underdogs,
mm,
which is I mean I do understand why because Cronulla home game and they're just so good at home. And the Raiders they did come off their loss, but they won their first two games, which is good. But both teams are actually 2-1, so the winner will be 3-1, which is a massive confidence boost already in round four. And the Sharks actually do have a bye coming up too. I think their bye is next week, if I'm correct, or else they play the Bunnies the week after. I don't know. Um, I think it is next week. Yes, it is. So their bye is next week. So if the Sharks can get on the board here and win this game, it's going to be a massive confidence booster for them. Because obviously, you win this week, there's 2 points. A bye next week is two more points, which jumps them up to 8 points. And at the moment, no one's on 8 points unless the Cowboys win.
mm.
So Cronulla, they're in 10th at the moment, but if they do get that 2 points, it'll jump them up to inside the top four without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
So I think the Sharks need to win this game here, or else they could potentially be in some early trouble um, heading into the end of the season. But it all games are good games, but this one should be a very, very good game. Late Sunday Arvo footy, two good teams going at it. But I think if the Raiders win, they they could actually be a finals threat. I wouldn't say a premiership threat, but
Mm.
they'll definitely be a threat for finals footy
Oh, 100%.
um, in September. But I don't know. It's going to be a close game, 50-50 game with that one. And then finally Monday we have the Parramatta Eels and the West Tigers. Um, both these teams coming off a very, very good win. I think the Tigers had the better win though, but
Mm,
Para they only just got up. Their last two, back to the last two games have been very, very close. They lost by 8 to Penrith, and then they won by 4 against Manly. So, and then their first game was, I think it was like a 16 point win. So Para, their games have been somewhat close. So
mm.
they're like the Raiders. They stick within that 1 to 12 range. Um, because they haven't won. They didn't win since God, I can't remember. Like 2022, their last win was by 13 plus before this night's win. So Para, I think they're going to be a team that's going to be having close win and losing margins. Like I don't think they're going to have too much 13 plus wins.
Especially
They're
with
mainly,
Mitch Moses out.
yeah, out for the next, I think it was 8 to 10 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is actually going to be huge for State of Origin too. Because if Nathan Cleary, say he does get injured after he comes back, there's really no seven for the Blues
Mm,
if you think about it. Like, because you obviously got Cody, and like I said last week, Maguire's picking players that are in form. So Cody Walker hasn't been playing his best.
mm,
Luke Brooks could potentially be the sixth, and then say that because Moses is going to come back a week before game one, so he's not going to be back in time for selection. But say that Cleary somehow gets injured again, Blues don't even have a seven. So it's going to be a huge pick for um, Michael Maguire to pick a halfback, but I really don't know who their halfback is going to be really. Like Nico Hines, you think, depending on how that he goes, because he had a poor game last week with
yeah, it
Nico.
depends if he keeps on having poor games or not.
Like
Honestly.
if he plays like he did last week, he's not even going to be an option. But if Nico might have to be picked, say that Cleary and Moses are still out at the time, because Moses definitely won't be back in time for selection, because he comes back the week after Magic Round, which is actually the week of Origin, leading up to Origin, so out. But Nico might have to be picked for Origin in form or not. So I think Nico might have a guaranteed spot for Origin 1. So who knows? And then the Tigers, well, their win was incredible. I think no one expected that win for sure. I think their backs, like I said with Appy, that Appy just carried this game.
I keep on wondering if someone had West Tigers for 13 plus.
I just want to know what they were paying. I think it was like $8 or something to win by
Oh,
13 plus.
fucking hell.
I can't remember what it was, but I think it was about $8 for 13 plus. So I mean, in the footy tips that we're doing, it definitely dropped me down a lot of places, that's for sure. So anyone that had the Tigers correct, I don't know how you did it. You'd have to be a Tigers fan,
Oh,
to be honest,
100%.
in order to get them right. But just what a game for the Tigers. It's just like the Roosters and the Panthers, they have to play exact same way the week before in order to win it. Um, so no Alex Twal actually from this game, and obviously Mitchell Moses, the only two outs on both sides. So a good week of footy, that's for sure. Now for some weekly news. There's been a lot of news,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of news, and start off with the injuries. And well, there's been a lot of injuries. So all these players that I'm about to mention um, are actually injured.
Mm,
So Payne Haas, Reece Walsh, Brendan Piakura,
mm.
Greg Marju, Mitch Moses, Nathan Cleary, Lindsay Collins, Scott Sorensen, Toby Rudolph, Royce Hunt, Dale Finucane, Tane Tuapiki, Tino Fastball Malawi, Ruben Cotter, Kyle Labert, Tom Chester, Sandon
Fucking
Smith,
Christ.
Bryce Cartwright, Cameron Murray, Billy Smith, Jack Whiten. All those
Oh
players have
my
got an injury.
god.
So, and Alex Twal is actually in concussion protocols too, who was not mentioned. And also Zach Labert, but he did get named. So,
I think
and that's that name. Those list of names are injuries just for the round. Those are all the players that got ruled out for this week due to injury.
I think is wait, I thought Whiten was playing.
He is playing, but that's just the um not just ruled out, but like because Ruben Cotter actually did get named. He's named at
Uh
lock. So these are
yeah.
just either minor injuries or just major injuries. So
But a lot of them are
a
major though.
lot.
A lot of them
But
are.
yeah, there's a couple of them that aren't really um that aren't major, but that's a lot of injuries that have been picked up.
And I
So
wouldn't be surprised if we even hear more before this game
we
start.
we probably will hear more tomorrow and even on Thursday.
So maybe we'll
So
like drop a little post on our Instagram to let you know.
yeah, we could. So that is a lot of injuries, and obviously can't forget all the other major ones like Cameron Monster and Adam Dewey, who
Mm,
are still yet to return. So there is a lot of players injured, but yeah. So obviously Cotter, White, they're all named to play. So it's just the minor injuries too, but biggest one is definitely going to be Cleary, Moses, and Reese Walsh are the main three. So, but Cleary's one's actually a minor hamstring strain. So if it was a major, he would have been out with the same time as Mitchell Moses. So
mm.
lucky for Cleary to escape the major one. But that is probably I think it's like 20 players that are on injury list. So injuries are the worst thing ever
Yeah.
in NRL. And then more news that we have been announced out of Brisbane. The biggest contract in Broncos history has been signed by Reese Lightning. He has agreed to a Reese Walsh. Actually,
Wait, he
maybe
signed?
not. So, Reese Walsh re-signs with Broncos until the end of 2029 on $5.5 million deal.
Four.
And 10 minutes ago, Reese Walsh has denied reports published by Courier Mail that he has agreed to sign a new 5-year, $5.5 million deal.
Whoa.
So Reese Walsh has denied those reports.
I was gonna say,
10,
like, I didn't hear
so
about
10
this.
minutes ago.
Damn.
So 37 minutes ago, NRL Online confirmed that Walsh had re-signed. 10 minutes ago, Mix NRL has posted that Walsh has denied the reports of it. So we don't know what's happened, whether Walsh has signed the contract or if he hasn't signed the contract. It's tough. It is a very tough decision. I don't know. Like until I hear it from the Brisbane Broncos page itself, I don't want to believe it.
Mm.
Hearing that he denied it, but like
Why would he
the NRL
deny it?
Online
That'd
has,
be kind of crazy.
yeah, NRL Online has um, confirmed it themselves. But to hear that he's denying those reports is actually pretty crazy. Um, so I don't know. We'll hear about it more in the morning, but by the sounds of it, he signed it and then he hasn't. So who knows? We'll find once the Brisbane Broncos post it. That's when I'll believe it. Um, so that's another signing news, and there's actually been a lot more news. Obviously, we said that Brendan Piakura he's actually going to miss up to 4 weeks with his ankle injury. So that's going to be more huge news for the Brisbane Broncos. Lindsay Collins has actually re-signed with the Roosters until the end of 2028. So huge news out of there. And I just had a couple more news that I've actually lost. So um, yeah, I mean crazy. What a crazy week of NRL news
Yeah, especially
already.
injuries. Injuries is definitely a highlight.
Yeah. And I was actually seeing something earlier that the Talon May Reese Walsh incident, even though May didn't get charged, the NRL have now confirmed that any player that makes a similar tackle like that will go straight to the NRL judiciary. So that is pretty
Jesus.
annoying
What?
because Talon should go straight to the judiciary already. I think that he should go straight to the judiciary after hearing that. Now that they've confirmed it, if it hasn't been confirmed already, this just shows that the Panthers are protected for sure. So it is pretty stupid, but the Panthers
Oh,
are protected.
remember, this is a Broncos supporter talking.
Yeah, I mean, if I was actually seeing one of the NRL experts was actually, I think it was Michael Ennis or James Graham, saying that if Jared Warrior-Hargreaves made that tackle, Jared would have been suspended.
Mm,
So coming from an NRL expert, that, mate, I'm not the only one saying that they're protected. All right.
mm.
So, but some more NRL news from Clarkie's Instagram. Andrew McCulloch has mentioned that if a player got put on report, that for a HIA or any player that gets put on report for it, so say the Talamay incident, because Reece Walsh came off the whole game, McCulloch is saying that the NRL should introduce a rule where the player that's been put on report should come off the field for the amount of time the injured player is off the field. So because Reece Walsh was off the field for the entire game, because Talamay was put on report, May should come off the field for the entire game as well to make it fair. So
Mm,
that is pretty interesting.
I don't
But I don't
know.
think I don't
Yeah,
think
I
they
don't
should come
know.
off
I don't know about that. Yeah,
because then that means Talon May, who's healthy, he's just missed an entire game,
because
which
like
is
yeah, if they're on report, there's a chance that they can already be suspended after the game. So
anyway. So yeah, that's it. Which then means they get suspended. They then because Reese came off for 77 minutes, that means May's off for 77 minutes. That's pretty much a suspension as well. So I don't think that rule should happen,
yeah,
to be
nah,
honest.
yeah.
Um, and then Leo Thompson, for his dangerous contact, he's been pleaded guilty to his grade 2 dangerous contact charge. He's been suspended for a game. Um, and that the New South Wales Premier says that he does not have the money to upgrade Leichhardt Oval. So Leichhardt Oval will not be having NRL games in the future. So big for the Tigers fans. And
Mm.
finally, that Fiji, they're going to submit a bid to try and get an NRL team in Fiji.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, as I said in um, our first episode of the podcast, that Papua New Guinea and Fiji deserve an NRL team
100%.
because we saw it in the Pacific Championships. Like their support and their passion over in those countries, they're just absolutely passionate for their teams and for
Mm.
their country. Because in the Super Rugby Union, Fiji and Jura in their third season, their fans over in Fiji are very, very passionate and loud. Like
Mm.
they will fill up a stadium that fits 10,000 people. They'll fill it up within
Just like
5 minutes.
was.
Exactly. They're just like the Wild. They are so passionate for their club and country that they will sell it out in 2 seconds. So that's how passionate they are. And one more thing before we jump to our next topic, I'm going to steal this from Clarky. So that's actually a shout out to him for this. His bonus takes. So he's got 6 teams here. So the first one for the Titans, put a line through the Titans. Tino for Malawi is too important to
Mm.
the side. Finals is already looking bleak after losing a combined 60-4 to the Dragons and Bulldogs, but somehow things got worse for the club. So he's saying that count the times out of the season in round 4, which I personally agree. I think that the times put a line through them already. And then he's got the Raiders. The Raiders have a great ability to drag teams into their own play style. Teams that play slow, gritty, aim for high completions and kick to the corners. With all the standard classics will struggle against Canberra this year. I think that Canberra is one of the best kicking teams in the game.
Oh yeah.
Like they can get Jamal Fogarty. I think there was a season or two ago he finished with the most 40-20s. Can't remember which season that was, but they can find distance. Because I actually saw that with Fogarty last week. It was they were 15 meters inside their own line. Fogarty boots it inside the last 20. Like that's how big the kick was. That's probably I think it was about 80 meters or so. So that is huge for the Raiders. He's also got the bunnies. So the Rabbitohs need to find a method to respond to adversity.
Mm.
Every time the going has got tough this year, they have folded. They weren't lucky last year when they beat the top 4 sides. Their talent is still there within the roster.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like they just need to get back into that form where they defeated Broncos, Storms, and Panthers all in a row. Like they just need to.
I mean, yeah, he said it. The talent is still there.
Mm.
They still have talent. Jack White, Cody Walker, Cameron Murray, Cook, Latrell, and they still got Campbell Graham as well. They got a lot of good players, the Bunnies. They're just not going all well. So the Broncos, Payne Haas is the most influential player at the Broncos. Without his work in the middle, they were dominated by a Panthers side that was missing Fisher Harris and struggled to build any sort of momentum. I agree. We both said this last week that without Payne Haas,
Mm.
Broncos were never going to win the forward pack battle.
Mm.
So Payne Haas is definitely the most influential player, and without him for the next 4 to 8 weeks, we're going to get dominated by the forward packs.
Yeah.
Because Cowboys, they also have a very
Mm.
strong forward pack.
Definitely have to rely more on the spine or more on the outs.
Definitely. Definitely for sure. And that he does have Roosters and the Sharks, but not too important. So that's most of the news. Big one would definitely be Reece Walsh. So
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure what he's going to do. Hopefully, though, he will definitely re-sign, but it's um, okay. He has actually posted on his story. Don't believe everything you read. Deal has not been signed. So
Ooh. So it's basically
um,
confirmed it. Jeez.
yeah. So don't believe everything you read. No deal has been signed. I'm doing me. I'll let you all know when something happens.
So I'm gonna
So
assume maybe they were like talking about it, but for some reason they misconstrued it as an actual
it
deal.
was. What was it? Wasn't there a signing? It might have actually been the Ben Hunt one, where a player had signed a big time contract, and then the player confirmed himself that that it hadn't been signed. I think it might have been Ben Hunt, but there was definitely a player where he made the signing and then he confirmed it himself. I can't remember which player it was. I'll try and find it out. But so yeah, Reese has confirmed himself that no deal has been signed. So he hasn't signed any contract yet.
Mm.
All right, predictions for this week.
Predictions.
So we've already been through this earlier. There's some surprising ones for me, but the first game is the Sydney Roosters are the favourites at $1.60. Penrith Panthers 2.35. I'm going with the Roosters for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. I think the Roosters will, especially being a home game, they always do well at home. And
Yeah, for sure.
no Nathan Cleary, no James Fisher Harris. So one of the main ball handlers and kicking game is out, so still think it'll be a cracker game, but yeah.
It's going to be good. So both gone with the Roosters. Next game, South Sydney $1.49, Bulldogs 2.63.
Well, I'll start off with this one. I think the Bunnies absolutely need this. I think they'll absolutely win. I have a gut feeling it will be Bunnies 13 plus. Honestly, I think as long as we play this game good, we have 3 straight home games. So as long as we play this good, then we really focus on what we did in this game. I think we can pick up our speed again. I think we can really pick it up and start getting some wins in.
I personally believe I'm going for the Bulldogs just because I feel like their Bulldogs, they haven't really been successful against Souths in the past, but I think they're going to carry that huge win last week over the Titans. They're going to carry all that momentum into a huge win over the Bunnies. And if they
Mm,
can get up against the Bunnies, it's definitely going to be huge for them. So I think that they get up in a close game, though. Very, very close.
mm.
Um, Next up, Brisbane Broncos, $2.04. Cowboys, 181. Of course, I'm going with the Broncos. I feel like we need this win here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with personally the Cowboys in this one, but I'm not planning on putting any head-to-head bets on this one. I think this will be a pretty close one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Broncos, as I said, they need this win, and to get Renault back and a huge confidence booster at home. So it's actually a sellout crowd. Suncorp Stadium, Friday night Queensland derby. I reckon they're going to be in for a huge win here, the Bronx. Definitely not 13 plus. I'm saying golden point myself,
Mm,
but Broncos will definitely get up, I think. And then the Dragons, $3.34. Manly, $1.33. Obviously, I'm definitely going Manly for sure.
mm. Oh yeah, same. I'm gonna do Manly 13 plus. I think they're
Definitely.
gonna wreck the Dragons, the so-called Premiership threats, after the first round.
Mm,
Um, nah, but seriously though, I think Eagles quite get this done easily.
definitely. Definitely. Next game, Titans, $2.12. Dolphins, $1.73. Massive, massive favorites for the Dolphins. Very high, $1.73. Should be lower, but Dolphins for sure to get the win.
Mm. Oh yeah,
Definitely.
same. Another 13 plus game for me. I think very surprised Dolphins are this high. I think Dolphins is gonna keep the Titans winless. So
And what else is surprising? Their line is actually at a 1.5,
I think
which is
I'll get them to cover that line. Get an um extra odds on that one.
lines at $1.81 for the Dolphins. Titans at plus 1.5 at $2. So
Yeah.
Dolphins would definitely get up. And then Warriors $1.42, Knights 2.87.
Mm.
Definitely the Warriors at home
Yeah,
for
same.
sure.
One's at home. Knights, even against the understrength Storms, I agree with us Nike Sports. They look half as good as they did last year. They've fallen off a little bit. Guess it's kind of like the Bunnies since earlier last year. They just don't look as good. Wise look better, and I think Wise get their second win here at home again.
Definitely, definitely. And I think this game's actually close to being a sellout as well. So the Warriors very, very passionate.
Mm.
Sharks $1.53, Raiders $2.51. For now, I'm gonna go the Sharks. I'm
Hmm.
gonna go the Sharks.
I'm gonna go Raiders because honestly, Raiders have a very good record over the Sharks. They've won like what the last 9 out of 10 games. I'm pretty sure,
Yes,
and it's
yes,
just they have such a good record. Raiders look really good right now. They looked very strong
they
against the
do.
Warriors and all the teams. I think
They
right now,
do
like
for sure.
Raiders could be finals threats right now. So
I
I'll be
think
taking
so,
the
especially
Raiders.
if they are to win.
Yeah.
And then final game, Para $1.49, Tigers $2.64. I'm gonna go the Tigers. I'm going with the West Tigers in this game.
I'm gonna go the Eels. I'm not. I'm
I
that.
just,
Honestly, after that performance, I won't count out the Tigers. I won't. I'm not too confident. Well, a little bit confident, but if Tigers played like they did against the Sharkies, it's anything can happen, man.
I just think that the Tigers are just, they're going to be like the Bulldogs. They're going to be that momentum going to shift over the next game and going to come out and just want to be hungry for a win against Para.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Tigers for a win. And then bets. Um, Start off again. First game. My bet is going to be Swaliti anytime, Tedesco anytime, overs over 39.5 points at
Mm.
$10.75.
Hmm. So to be honest, with the Roosters and Panthers game, I don't have anything on it. I it's I think it's a game that I'm just gonna watch. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it, but I thought I'd do it because why not? Just to
Yeah,
see
just have
how
something.
it would go.
Yeah.
Next game, Bulldogs, Rabbits. I've got the doggies to cover the line at +5.5.
Mm.
Burton +4 points. Jacob Preston anytime and Isaiah Tass anytime at $31.25.
Mm. For me, I think Bunnies will get honestly, I'm going with my gut. I think Bunnies will get a little statement win here. So I have Bunnies 13 plus. Alex Johnson for a try, Latrell for a try, over 35.5 points, and second half of most tries.
Not bad. Yeah, I think the second half is where all the tries are going to be scored, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think
especially
the
with
first
Bunnies,
half,
yeah.
I think the first half is going to be a bit slow. There'll
Mm,
probably be one try to each team, but then second half teams are just going to just rain down tries, I think.
yeah.
And then Broncos, I'm going Broncos 1-12.
Mm,
Valentine Holmes 4+ points. Katoni
mm.
Staggs anytime. Over 41.5 at $15.
Yeah, I just copied like I said multiple times, I use Snack Sports as a guide, so I've just basically copied him. Like Valentine Holmes for a try and then over 35 points. I think that's a nice little simple safe bet for
Yeah,
you.
I think Val's he is marked up against it'll be Katoni. Wait, Val plays left side, so he'll
Mm,
be up against Cobbo.
mm,
So Cobbo he's not one of the best defenders.
mm,
He's like the Knights where you expect them to win, they'll lose. Cobbo is you'll expect him to have a good game, but then he'll fall off. When
mm,
you don't expect him to have a good game, he'll have a good game. So I don't know. It's going to be hard for Cobbo to defend
mm,
Holmes, especially being in the centers. So I think Holmes will definitely score a try against Cobbo.
mm,
Um, and then next game, I got Manly 13 plus.
mm.
Trbojevic anytime, Kohler anytime at $8.75.
So I got Seagulls to win this one, and I got Mike Ravalawa for a try, which is a little bit weird, especially for the other side to win, but I think he is 100% due for a try. He has not gotten a try in the regular season yet. He's due. He's due.
No, he hasn't. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to score a try.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's due for a try anyway. Um, and then I've got the Dolphins head to head. Jake Garillo anytime, Asako anytime.
Mm.
Under 46.5 at $18.25.
Yeah, another simple bet for me. I have Dolphins 13 plus, and then Jermaine Osaka for a try, which is $5 odds. So I actually really like that.
Oh, that's pretty good at
Mm.
$5. Warriors 1-12. Luke Metcalf anytime. Dane Gago anytime at over 40.5 with $22 odds.
So I have a lot on this one, but it's pretty simple. So at $8.90, it's the Wise head to head, DWZ for a try, over 40.5 points. And then I got Wise leading after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, and 60 minutes.
Not bad, not bad. Granola them to cover the line at -4.5.
Mm,
Under 40.5 points. Kennedy Savage anytime try score at $39.25.
Mm. So I've got the Raiders head to head, under 40.5 points, and then I got Jamal Fogarty, Jamal. For some reason I can't say his name at the moment. I got Jamal to score 6 more points. I'm really liking his kicking game, and that's $6.
I reckon that'll hit.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And then I got Tigers cover the line at +6.5. Appy Coruscant, Dream Buller anytime at over 44.5.
Mm.
All up $20.50.
Mm. So I have either team to win 1 to 12, and then I have Mike Sevo for a try, which is yeah. So I think what I'm getting is that you like to do risky bets, and I'm more like
Hmm.
the safe bets guy.
I just feel higher multi makes it
High odds, yeah.
higher odds, which is risky bets sometimes work. Obviously, there was one a couple weeks with the Cowboys that almost worked, but
Yeah.
a lot of high odd multis. But I haven't. I only hit one. I think there was only one that hit back in round two, but I have to wait and see. So bit of a long episode, longer than last week, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But that's been episode. Oh God, I think it's 6, 5, 7. I can't remember. My one will probably be out tomorrow or Thursday, probably Thursday.
Mm.
We got a big week of AFL though, that's for sure. We got a grand final rematch on Thursday between Brisbane and Collingwood. Um, Preview that game, and the Jack Jumpers are actually up 2-1 in the NBL finals. Surprisingly, they have a chance to close things out. So a lot in sport this week. I'll obviously cover a little bit of sport in the NRL. I forgot what A League. I don't know what happened in the A League. Super Rugby union's been going on.
Mm.
Probably even showcase the Tim Zoo fight on Sunday. The
Oh yeah.
Aussie's having his fight in Vegas on Sunday morning.
Mm.
It'd be good for him, but yeah, that'll probably be out tomorrow or Thursday. Other than that, that's been the week, NRL week. Um, Obviously, as we said, I'll probably get onto that Reece Walsh news if anything is confirmed, but hopefully it's been confirmed.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Like
nothing else to add.
yeah, like I said, we'll probably put a post on Insta if we got
Yeah,
anything about it.
it'll definitely, if anything major, yeah, I doubt he's going to sign with another team. It'd be very, very shocking if he does, actually. Like, if he goes to the Bunnies,
Yeah,
I'll
come the
cry.
bunnies, resource. Come on, come the
Yeah, he can
bunnies.
replace Latrell Mitchell.
Join the winning
So,
to the premiership threatening team this year.
uh, we're not joking around, buddy. The laughs are over.
Hey,
But
watch, just watch.
yeah, well, the last fun fact actually, the last time the Bunnies started off 3-0, sorry, 0-3, they missed the next four season of finals footy. So 08,
I
09,
mean,
10,
also,
and 11 they didn't play finals footy.
I mean, to be fair, that's a little contradicting because last time we were 0-4, or sorry, something like that. We
1-3. You
uh,
won one of the first five games.
yeah, 1-5 or something like that. We made the grand final once, so little
Yeah, but
contradicting stats
started off the
there.
season at 0-3 though.
True.
Anyway, it's only early days. And see you for mine tomorrow or Thursday, and we'll be back again next weekend.
Mm.
Enjoy your footy. Go the Bronx.
Go the bunnies.
Fuck up.
You fuck